This is the story of a boy named Jack. Jack was a loner that would mostly keep to himself unless he had to. Every day as the sun went down, he would walk through a dark, twisted forest on his way home from school. This was the shorter way home. He'd always be in such a foul mood as he walked, because he would always seem to have misplaced his favorite possession by this point in his journey, a small sack of different colored marbles. He'd barely even noticed the twisted, shadowy trees and gnarled roots as he kicked by them. He would always blame his mom for their disappearance, his marbles, as she would always be the one to turn up with them in the end. Jack traveled this path every day without any trouble happening, until one Halloween night. Jack's teacher kept him later after school. Jack loved Halloween, and so he was very anxious to get home to prepare for his night. He found himself speeding along a much darker than usual path through the dark, twisted forest. Something seemed different to Jack about the forest tonight. He figured it was just the wind, which was quite strong tonight. It wasn't until halfway down the path that Jack noticed it, a soft orange glow coming from within the forest. Jack stood for a moment staring at the light as the darkness surrounded him. He found the strange orange glow made him warm as he watched it. Jack decided he'd like to see what it was, so he began to make his way into the forest. As he got closer, a tall, dark frame rose up in the darkness, revealing the silhouette of a large old house. Jack stared in amazement, for there had never been a house anywhere within his forest. He creeped towards the house, and as he did, the source of the light revealed a large glowing jack-o'-lantern sitting on the porch. So this is what it was, he remarked. Jack studied the house for a moment and found that it must be abandoned from the look of its ancient wood paneling. He decided since it was Halloween, he should explore this old house. He made his way up the creaking old steps and pushed on the old broken door, which swung open with a loud crack. The house's interior would have been completely black, if not for the gentle moonlight coming through a window at the end of the hallway. Jack crept slowly down the hallway, carefully sliding his feet in the darkness. He began to feel very uneasy about this hallway, as if he'd been here before. Finally, he pushed to the end of the hallway, where the moonlight was coming from, and found a room with two dark, shadowy figures sitting staring at him. He froze in terror, every inch of him wanting to run down that hallway, but unable to. The human-shaped shadow sat motionless. Jack could take no more. Summoning his energy, he ran from the house. Jack found himself running terrified through the now pitch-black forest, desperate to find his way home, back to the path and his own home. The trees whipped by him like long evil shadows reaching out to grab him. His terror quickly turned to desperation as he found the forest seemed to go on and on, revealing no prior trace of a path or anything but the darkness around him. Finally he collapsed, tired and short of breath. He lay there for a time wondering what was happening to him, and when he looked up, to his shock, the same old broken house loomed up before him. The same twisted, smiling pumpkin glowing warmly in his eyes. All of a sudden, something seemed very peaceful about this house to Jack. He stood, walked back through the dark broken door, and crept down the old hallway. As he entered the room, he saw the two dark, shadowy figures still sitting in their places. He drew closer to them and shrieked in terror as he took in the sight of two rotting corpses staring blankly ahead, their skin gray and shriveled as if they'd been there for centuries. Something seemed very familiar to Jack, though, about the silently sitting corpses. One seemed to be a man while the other a woman, and as he studied their bodies, he noticed the female was stuck holding something out to him. He took it from her hand and stood rocking back and forth as he looked at a small sack of multicolored marbles. Jack sat down slowly across from the corpses and realized he was home.